Hey, Gabriel here with the Icon Capture GPS Intelligence Brief for June 12th, 2026. All right, grant and research portfolio managers, we need to talk because this is one of those boards where if you only look at the opportunity count, you are going to misread the market. Here's what I want to do with you today. I want to walk through the new opportunity flow, the legislative and executive movement, the regulatory and court signals, and then bottom line what this means if you're actually managing a portfolio right now and trying to decide where to lean in, where to stay patient, and where you may be kidding yourself. Before we start, this is the last brief before this terrain window narrows. 0 seats left in the GPS Displacement Window review. 5,298 opportunities, competitive displacement windows this week. That signal is what opened this session, and it will not repeat the same way tomorrow. Code GPS 529 at the-icon.ai capture. Now, let's read the board, so let's get right to the facts. Over the last 168 hours, GPS surfaced 5,298 new opportunities posted on SAM.gov. 2404 legislative signals, 0 federal hiring signals across 0 agencies. And all of that is happening while market BCL is 0%, with 0 agencies stalled under the continuing resolution. The data from this past week paints a fascinating picture for us as grant and research portfolio managers. With 5,298 opportunities on the table, the landscape appears bustling at first glance. However, a closer look at the capture ticker reveals a more nuanced narrative. While the volume of opportunities is high, the absence of amount data in top postings like the Hawthorne Army Depot and the automated digital network system indicates a lack of clarity on budget allocations. It's a reminder that raw volume doesn't always equate to accessible capital. Interestingly, the board compliance level, BCL, is stagnant at 0%, suggesting a bottleneck in how these opportunities might be converted into actionable grants. What this means practically is that while there's a wealth of opportunities in theory, the compliance or readiness to award these grants is currently lacking. If you manage this grant book, you know that navigating such terrain requires not only identifying these opportunities, but also anticipating the legislative shifts that might unblock these channels. The legislative signal is particularly strong, with 2,404 activities recorded. This suggests a potential policy-driven reshaping of demand conditions. For managers reading this tape, it's crucial to track these legislative currents closely. The capture terminal aids in dissecting these layers of opportunity and legislative activity. It's not just about counting opportunities, it's about understanding what's actionable and where the real potential for funding lies. Secondary signals offer a different set of insights, especially when hiring, lobbying, and court opinions remain at a standstill. 0 hiring spread and lobbying activity could suggest that agencies are in a holding pattern, awaiting regulatory clarity. This absence of movement might initially seem like a dead zone, but for savvy managers, it signals a moment ripe for strategic positioning. Terrain holes, or the lack thereof, further complicate this narrative. Typically, terrain holes indicate gaps in market intelligence or areas ripe for entry. Their absence implies a well-mapped landscape where the primary challenge isn't finding new opportunities, but rather navigating existing complexities. Managers who read this tape know that this is a time for patience and a focus on policy shifts that could soon unlock new avenues. Court opinions being at 0 is another piece of the puzzle, suggesting minimal regulatory disruptions for now. This stability can be leveraged by managers to craft portfolios that are robust against sudden legislative changes once they do occur. It's a call to prepare for a more dynamic future where today's legislative groundwork could lead to tomorrow's funding flows. In this environment, smart portfolio moves hinge on anticipating where policy might drive opportunity next. By aligning current strategies with potential legislative outcomes, managers can position themselves to capitalize on the eventual uptick in market activity. It's about being proactive rather than reactive, ensuring that when the floodgates open, your portfolio is ready to catch the wave. The current market is a dynamic landscape driven by legislative and executive shifts that are actively reshaping demand conditions. Are you aligning your submission strategies with the latest policy changes to capture emerging opportunities? How are you leveraging zero-agency stalls and terrain holes to maximize portfolio efficiency? In a climate where BCL is at 0%, are you prepared to adapt swiftly to any shifts in funding conditions? Our conviction is clear. Agility and informed decision-making are paramount in navigating this evolving environment to optimize grant and research outcomes. Last thing before I sign off, and I want to be direct. 0 seats left in the GPS displacement window review. When this window closes, the terrain that justified it moves on. Tomorrow's signal will be different. The next session will read a different board. If the brief we just walked through gave you a reason to act, now is the time. Code GPS 529. communities.theicon.ai/capture the-govcon-elite 6.6 million records, 4 verticals ready. Provenance traced from bill to award. Like and subscribe if you're managing a federal grant, research, GovCon, or commercial portfolio. I drop a new GPS brief every weekday. All links, terminal preview, Shipley sessions, live cohort calendar, and the full brief are at communities.theicon.ai/capture/the-govcon-elite. Register free, and it's all there. This is Gabriel. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello. Just a quick note. You will be disconnected